Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Sunset Cove. It's a 3.5 by 3.5. I painted this like, I don't know, a couple months back. And one of the ones I sold out of my studio to a tourist too. That used to happen quite a lot. Hasn't been that frequent of an occurrence since the C19 thing, but no complaints. It's another day of life, another day to paint, and that's all good. If you do like it though, I have some little 3.5 by 3.5s on in the store on my site. I think the price is $125. That includes international shipping though, and it's a beautiful little original. And I love these because they're like little gems. To me, I really enjoy doing them too, because you really have to keep things quick and simple at this size. It's not the place to get real tricky with a bunch of details and things. If you're going to do that, you better get yourself a tiny brush. That's all I gotta say. You can see here I'm using, like, it looks like a 2. Maybe it's a 1. That's a DOS brush, by the way. Quite an inexpensive brush. But what I've noticed with those DOS brushes is that they after they get broke in, they do pretty good, you know. And what's the main difference, really, I think, is the density of hairs in the brush. So they maybe tend to wear a little quicker than, say, the Robert Simmons, which is a lovely brush. Robert Simmons quit making the 1s and 0s and 3s. They just do 2s, and I have quite a few of those. So the board was textured. It's a bit of MDF, and the board was textured with some acrylic paint and acrylic gesso. Just I put a little on my palette and mixed it together, and then used a paper towel to just quickly rub it on the board. And this is because the MDF was now a transparent gesso, so it was MDF colored, which is like this bright yellowy cream tone, which might work for some things. It doesn't work as an underpainting color for my work. I need something a little more like my typical hardboard color, which is sort of what I was shooting for here. That's Jerry working his way into my office here. Okay, now in the members area, I gotta promote the members area, because this is a great one for the members area. It's hour long, putting a whole painting together, right? And everything I'm doing here is going to be done on every painting. It's just goes quick because it's tiny, you know. But in the members area, I at least for the last year, I have included my color mixing sessions in full. So if you're looking for, like, I get that on the channel a lot, like, why don't you talk about your colors? You know, usually on the older, because I will talk about the colors there in this 15-minute version as well. But it's a full breakdown of me mixing, say, the top 6 to 10 colors. And the video is live, and also it's 4K, and also there's no ads. So for $6, it's a great way to support me and have access to 100. That's got to be 100 more, maybe, I don't know how much more, but a lot, and real-time videos. So this would be one of the shorter ones, around an hour, but a lot of them average, 3 to 4 to 5 hours, and then of course there'll be some that are up there in the 7 or 8 hour range if the painting's quite large or it was very involved, I prefer to get in and get out pretty quick. The thing is, though, the concentration that's required to do oil painting doesn't mean, like, you could say, like, this day that I did this painting on, it wasn't like I did 8 paintings that day, because it took me, an hour, give or take. This was it for that day. So it's actually, in a sense, maybe more economical to sell the bigger ones, but whatever, it's all good. I enjoy doing them, and this used to fit a very neat little niche with the tourist market, so maybe it still will. I've been doing the local markets here, and we'll see how that goes. Colors using this just off the top of my head, because it's like 2 years back, but obviously you've got titanium white, you got titanium buff, you've got I believe yellow ochre was used, you've got black, and that's that grayish color. I'm pretty sure I use actual blue. A lot of times, instead of getting into blue, I'll just mix black and white and get a nice gray. The gray that you get from mixing ivory black or lamp black with titanium white is very cool and very bluish. As a matter of fact, just as a little aside, a little tip, if you want a truly neutral gray, I would add in like a raw umber to a mixture like that and neutralize it. And neutral gray is it's kind of a tricky beast, because gray will look different in the shadows than it does in the highlights, etc., so on and so forth. But suffice to say, there's lots of times I use that gray color instead of blue, and that's because of my tonalist heritage, you know. And in the Renaissance, prior to that, your blue pigments were exceedingly expensive in the old days. I mean, you would have to charge a separate price just if your client wanted a large proportion of the painting done in blue, because you would have been using lapis lazuli to paint it, which is a gemstone and very expensive, and thus you don't see a lot of blue in old paintings, right? There is like a blue called smalt, which is like a really icky, like chalky whitish blue. I guess you could use it. I just used the gray instead. Interestingly, the gray, when it's surrounded by warm colors, will automatically read as blue. That would be cad orange in the sky, some cad yellow. Lots of probably burnt umber and black used in the landforms, and I'd say that's almost the whole palette, so it's fairly limited, except, you know, most of the color, of course, being injected up in the sky with that orange. And one thing you'll notice is, like, coming up a little bit, actually the sky don't look that too bad right now, but in the throes of battle, I was struggling a bit with it, I'll be honest with you. I ended up looking great. I mean, obviously the painting sold, so I know it looked good, but I should have got it quicker. I feel like that I should have probably got it a little quicker, but you know, whatever, I will keep working on something until I'm happy. I prefer it though if I just make an immediate statement and that looks good. That's my strong preference. Probably yours too. Hey, if things get too wacky, this has happened to me lots. This is why I'm always harping on getting a lot of experience if you want to be a good painter, because you really have to have your nose rubbed in it. And I've got puppy. We're doing a puppy training in the house, and you got to see the consequences of your actions. You got to be. I probably mentioned this. I know I've mentioned it before in the channel, but we have lots of videos, and it's always new. Every day is new. How many decisions go into a painting? Well, not as many in a little one like this. Is something that we pay bigger, you know. But in thousands, right? Every brushstroke is a decision. Every time you go down to the palette and mix a color is a decision. Of course, the big decisions is the size of the board, or the proportions of the board, I should say, the size of the painting or the board, whether it's going to be textured or smooth. Those are big global decisions. But and then a lot of decisions, of course, are made in the drawing stage for me, where the composition's being worked out. And there, obviously, I'm usually interfacing with some sort of reference. Although increasingly, I like to make big changes to that reference. You know, if you look at my older work, if you can see a lot of it in this channel, actually, if you go to my channel page and you just keep scrolling, it'll take you all the way back to 2013, where there's a video of an opening that I had for a one-man show, and also one of me sitting on the couch doing my impression of the drunk priest from oh, I can't remember his name, Father something, that show. Anyway, you know, Vec, Ars. I shouldn't say Ars, that's not nice, sorry. I don't think it's an official bad word, but maybe you know what is the name of that show? Anyway, we are working in the waves. You know, got this kind of churning thing going. So that's Bee Cream, and yeah, I really like that buff. A lot of times the buff saves me time, because if I was using titanium white, I mean, I automatically reach for the raw umber, automatically reach for the yellow ochre, and then start balancing, right? Because I never, ever use titanium white in its pure form. So the buff saves a lot of time since it's already kind of buffy. But even there, it's a little mono ish. Even by mono-ish, I mean, I talk about that a lot, especially actually not so much on the 15-minute videos. So that might be a good thing to take us out towards the end of this video, since you're being so kind as to pay attention. And by the way, if you make it all the way into the videos, apparently that boosts the video. YouTube will boost that video to new potential subscribers, which is awesome. Also, I should probably try and do one of these shorts. I've been thinking. I don't find it a very appealing idea, but apparently that's a good way to gain new subscribers. Oh, that's the puppy out there. Sorry. Okay, what I was talking about was, yeah, Uncle Mike had to refresh his memory. Monocolor. So, yeah, I haven't talked about that a lot in the 15-minute area, but you'll hit that. You'll hear that all the time in the members area, because, of course, you're hearing my actual me actually talking as I'm painting. So what do I mean? We were just using, say, white or cream as an example. Now, you might look at titanium buff and say, looks like cream to me. I'm just going to slap it down. But when I look at buff, I see a lack of complexity in the color. So while it's going to be quicker for me to just, you know, maybe add a little extra yellow to it, or a little bit of umber or something to it, you know, take it a little further, and then balance that out with some titanium white or what have you. Whereas if I was working with titanium white, I'd be throwing in all these other colors, because you need some complexity in your color. Now, the guy over at Draw Mix Paint, he calls it dirty color. I don't think that's a good expression. I'll use it, you know, why not? But you know, it has a bit of a negative connotation, where I prefer to refer to it as mono or complex color. Monocolor would be color as it comes out of the tube. It just says, I'm yellow ochre. What are you going to do with me? You know, well, you need to do something. Like in the case with, say, I want to make a tan, I might I grab some raw umber, and then I'd add some white. That gets me into tan land. But then I would add some yellow ochre, which would make it a little too yellow, and then probably would add some burnt sienna or something to balance out that, actually be a little greenish, that tan. So then I'd start throwing that earthy red in there to balance it out. And the resulting tan, I could go any direction I want with it in any of those four colors to push it, you know. But even if I'm trying to go straight up the middle to something fairly a neutral tan, it has complexity in it, and that's really important. So remember that. A lot of amateurs, that's one of the biggest ways you can spot that they're amateurs. They just grab the phthalo green, for example, and mix it with some yellow, and at some level they're going, well, this green doesn't really look like the green in my photo reference, but what other greens do I have, right? Well, you have Mike's green. And Mike's green, I don't mind telling you, made it almost to the end. Here's a special tip. Mike's green made out of acrylite yellow and lamp black or ivory black. Gives you an earthy green. It's still a little monocentric, but first thing I'll do is usually check in some burnt sienna or some other color. Anyway, we're close to the end of the video here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you making it to the end. Please leave me a comment if you can, or support me in some other way. I have a donation area on my site, and I use that to buy art supplies, which I need all the time. So help a brother out. Until I come back with another video, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, and stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family.